And everybody, we are live. This is exciting. We've been live for about 10 seconds now, so that's not going to replay well on YouTube. Let's talk Chiefs. Do you think that the Chiefs will three-peat? Let's discuss. Do you think the Chiefs will three-peat? That's the big question. I think they will. I think that Andy Reid will have some sort of play, some sort of stop ready for Saquon Barkley. Now, I think Saquon probably will have a decent day, but they're going to have to eliminate those 40, 30, 50, 60-yard runs, and they're going to have to make sure that it's second and long rather than second and short. You know, second and 7 is a heck of a lot better defensively than second and 2, second and 3. So they're going to have to stop basically everything with Andy Reid. But I think if the Eagles offense, if they can run the ball, if Saquon can run the ball and get decent yardage on each run, and Jalen Hurts is accurate, and obviously he can use his legs as well, the Eagles have a real good chance. I think they're going to have to spread the ball around offensively. I think there will be a lot of defense uh, on AJ Brown. I mean, he is a top tier wide receiver, so that means Devontae Smith has to play well. Goddard's going to probably catch. Saquon might have to catch out of the backfield or some other running back. So it's going to be a good mixture of offense that Philadelphia has to throw Kansas City's way. Now, there's a big article in the uh, in the um, in the Wall Street Journal. God, I blanked. On the Wall Street Journal today, and it says basically that Kansas City in the playoffs, especially in the Super Bowl, creates plays or has plays that they haven't even done all season, kind of like the game-winning throw last year. So look for some things that aren't normal for Kansas City, and I wonder if that means, Pacheco. If you've watched Kansas City any length of time over the last few games, Pacheco is used what I believe is sparingly. He's his time is equal to or less than snap wise anyway with Kareem Hunt. So maybe they use Pacheco a little bit more. Maybe they use Kareem Hunt. They're not a big run first kind of offense, but can they stand up to the defensive front line of Philadelphia? That's the big question going into Sunday. I think that they probably will be able to do some things that are new for the season. But, Philadelphia knows that Kansas City brings out surprise passes. I mean, the Wall Street Journal's article about Kansas City's surprise offensive plays isn't surprising anybody in the league. Buffalo admitted to Kansas City running some plays that they had not seen on film all year. Kansas City's going to continue that. That's the mad scientist that is Andy Reid, devising schemes, devising offensive plays that are different, you know, for the playoffs than they are for the regular season. So that's where that's different. Now, I know that some folks are coming in. Who do you think's going to win? I look. I live in St. Louis. I don't really have a team that I root for. I do get a lot of Kansas City Chiefs game on like free television. I do like Patrick Mahomes, but I am a Saquon Barkley fan. I'm probably a bigger Mahomes fan than Saquon Barkley. I think those two guys are going to be the real difference makers in this game. Who do you think? Just put it in the chat. I'm looking at the chat now. Who do you think's going to be the difference maker in this game? Go Eagles, go, says Amanda. Luis says, go Chiefs. Yes, I got to tell you, a lot of people, a lot of Eagles fans over the last 2 weeks, especially, really online saying that Philly's going to win it. Chiefs beat my Bills. Yeah, So now you want the team that beat your Bills, the Eagles, to win. So yeah, no, the friend of my enemy is my friend. So yes, I totally get it. Can't go wrong with Mahomes, the best quarterback. Yeah. Mahomes has a way that he figures out how to win. My son sort of makes a joke when the Chiefs play that, just wait till about 4 or 5 minutes left in the game and Patrick Mahomes goes on a run. So, um, TikTok isn't letting you renew the subscription. Okay, I'll have to check into that. Let me see. I'll send you a DM. We are live, Nathaniel. Aren't you supposed to be in school? Yeah, I will check back with you on that, Amanda, to see. It looks like you might have a subscription right now with me, so maybe that's why you couldn't do it. But let me check on that when we get closer. We are on TikTok, we're on Twitch, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube. I think that my from what football I know, I think the Chiefs run a different offense in the Super Bowl, and I will check into that, Amanda. And I think I have your DM on TikTok, so I'll just send you what I know from that. So thank you very much. And also, just for anybody watching out there right now, I do have fantasy baseball and fantasy football playbooks, and they're $9.99 for the entire year. It's not a subscription; it's a one-time fee. You get it for 12 months, and it's 25 pages, and it's really good information. Like it tells you how to work your draft and what to do during the season and what type of players to look for and reminders. Look like when it comes to football, look for the bye weeks and look for all of those kinds of things. So I took some time, put it together, and it is good. Like I said, for the entire 12 months, and it's one time $9.99. The QR code is below me there. So I am just trying to do something different. I usually go live, as you guys know, at night, but sometimes my live streams have not been all that fun. So at night, I think everybody's going live now. But who else? Who else do you think? Luis, you still there? Who do you think's going to win? Yeah, you're still here. Tony, who do you think's going to win? Nathaniel, who do you think's going to? Well, I know Nathaniel wants. Well, Amanda wants Philly. Nathaniel wants Philly. Who does Luis wants the Chiefs? Tony, who do you want, Tony? I know you're on. And then there's a bunch of people on YouTube. I don't know who they are. YouTube or something else. I know one's Nathaniel, but let me know who you think. You're in health class now. Wow, that must be a really good class. You're in the gym. Okay, so you're not really doing anything but looking at your phone. That's interesting. But the way I look at it is, I think Saquon Barkley and Patrick Mahomes are the two best bets to win MVP, depending upon if their teams win. Number one. Number two, it's going to be Philadelphia's job to stop Patrick Mahomes. As the Bills said in this Wall Street Journal article, if you haven't seen the Wall Street Journal article, they have a really good article about how the Chiefs come up with all new plays for the playoffs and like specifically the Super Bowl as compared to the regular season. And it's plays that Buffalo Bills coordinator even said they could look at all the film from the entire season and they didn't see some of the plays that were in the game against them. They didn't see Patrick Mahomes run as much as he did in the game as well. So it's a really good article. And I do think the Chiefs win because Patrick Mahomes is competitive. He seems to have that it factor where he can will a team to win. I do think that of the last 2 years, at least, I mean, 2 years prior, I think Phillies, I keep saying that. The Eagles team is probably the regular season MVP probably goes to Lamar, is my guess, Amanda. Uh, I, 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 I think that it should go to Josh Allen, or I can see why people say Josh Allen, but I think statistic wise, I think Lamar Jackson had better statistics. I could be off on that, but they were pretty comparable. And I don't, man, you know what? That is a good thing though. Yeah, I think it'll be Lamar, but I think Josh probably deserves it. He had a lot of things with his team. Uh, let's face it, the Bills don't have great receivers. They have a decent running back who got better towards the end of the season, I believe, James Cook. But Baltimore had Derrick Henry, and Zay Flowers is pretty good, so they have some head toppers. But they have Andrews at tight end. But I think it's Lamar Jackson again. But if it's Josh Allen, I would be definitely okay with that. So let me know if who you think's going to win. I just from everything that I've looked at and I've read and the conversations I've had and just watching games throughout the season, this is the toughest game that the Chiefs are going to play for the Super Bowl, at least in these three Super Bowls, the three in a row here. Okay. Because I think that, you know, Philly almost won the first time when it was 38-35 2 years ago. Do I think it's possible for Cup to go to the Bills? I think it's definitely possible. I think if I was Cup, well, to go from Southern California to Buffalo is probably a big shock to the system. However, if he went to Buffalo, wouldn't he be the number one? I mean, okay, I was talking with my son, I think it was last night about this, and 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 I was saying that it was kind of like the Rams gave up on Cup. It's not like Cup dropped off. They dropped him off. Like he went from, I'm making this up, I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but he went from like, 8 targets to like 2 or 3. He went from, getting 17 points, 14 points fantasy to like 2 or 3. He was blocking more towards the end of the season. It's almost like I think Puka just took a lot of his time. Yeah, I think Puka took a lot of his time. I also think the offense changed. They weren't looking to him all the time. That's what I sort of took it as well. They weren't always looking at Cup uh, to throw the ball to him because there was one game like what happened was his numbers went down just a little bit and then he had a real drop off where he had like 0 points or 1 point or 2 points, and then the next game he had like 14 or 17 points, and then the rest of the season he was like under 6 points. So what that tells me is it it was they weren't going to him, and from some of the footage I was actually some of the articles I was reading and some of the information I was getting too, they were using him on blocking situations a lot more. I do think they were looking to Puka more, but I don't know why there was a drop off. My thought at the time was maybe there's an injury they're not telling us about, but I haven't heard anything like that. I don't necessarily think, and you're right. I mean, Puka just got Puka got open. And when you're a superstar and you can get open and your quarterback likes you enough, he's going to throw you the ball. So you're exactly right, Amanda. I mean, it is 100% that way. But I kind of felt like he was still uh, um, Cooper Kupp was still able to put up really good numbers. They just weren't finding him, and that was the problem with me. I thought you have a job with a mediation or something. Yeah, I have a job, but I have a lunch break too, and things like that. Um, so anyway, okay, we have a bunch of people online. Who do you think's going to win? Will the Chiefs three P? And Amanda, to get back to you, just to be 100% clear, I think Cooper Kupp would be a great fit. I will say that it might be a shock to the system to go from Southern California to Buffalo. Okay. But hey, I heard last night that Cooper Kupp might be signed by Detroit, and I couldn't figure that one out because they already have St. Brown, they have Jameson Williams, and I think what is it? Patrick might be leaving, but he's not a number 3. He's a number 1 or a number 2 Cooper Kupp. Like he still has, I'm telling you, there was a month there, 4 or 5 weeks where he was putting up good numbers towards the end of the season. He wasn't putting up good numbers. Yeah, he could go to the Bengals. If they lose T. Higgins, that was the one stop I heard. If they lose T. Higgins, he could go to the Bengals. The Titans have a lot of money. Apparently, they have or no, New England. New England has a big salary cap. And so they might be able to sign him that way. So there's a lot of possibilities for Cooper Kupp, and there's no reason that people wouldn't want to sign him. I think he's still got a lot of gas in the tank because, like I said, he was putting up good numbers throughout the year, and then the Rams, I'll just look it up. What the heck? I'll look up his targets. I've just been talking from a little bit of memory here, so I don't know why I get online and then I start stammering so much. Okay. What stats are these going to give me, though? I need good stats. Okay, let me just go to my old buddy Yahoo. I do the Yahoo fantasy. I don't know. I've just always done it. I know everybody mostly does ESPN, but I really don't like the fact that ESPN has you guys playing the last week for the playoffs. I think that's so stupid. Shoot, even keeping him in LA. Yeah, LA with Ladd, that would be really good because Ladd would only be on his second year. That's a great idea, Amanda. That would be well, even the Raiders, I mean, they have Jacoby Meyer, but even putting him on the Raiders would be good. They're in Vegas, they're not too far away, but yeah, I mean, there's as far as I'm concerned, well, the Texans, but I think the Bills would be a really good fit. I think the Bills would be an awesome fit. I would love to see him go to the Bills. I think that would really make them stand out. What is going on here? Okay. Hello, friend. I see you have a good live stream. Can I get more real and active followers? And yeah, I don't need anybody to get me more active followers. Okay, what is stupid? Yeah, okay. Well, I'm not going to use Yahoo because I got to log on or something. Remind me later. So, I don't really get why they're trying to trade him. He's reliable. Yeah, Zach, I completely agree with you, Zach. Zach, I completely agree. He was reliable towards the end of the season. I'm going to say this again. I said it to Amanda earlier. Amanda's great. She is awesome. On my channel, she's been a supporter for a long time. But the one thing about it is he had really good weeks. He was really productive. I'm trying to look up his stats right now. That's why I'm kind of off. But I wanted to see because I'm telling you right now, okay, Cooper Kupp, here we go. Here we go. What do we got? Okay. So as you guys know, he played week 1 and week 2, and then he didn't come back until week 8. All right. And he was targeted. Now look at this. All right. Look at this. And because Yahoo only plays through week 17, I only have stats through week 17. But anyway. Okay. Look at this. This is what I'm talking about, guys. Okay. Okay. In week 9, he was targeted 14 times. 10, week 10, 7. Then it went to 10. Then it went to 11. Then it went to 6, 8, 3, 3, 3. I'm telling you right now, he went from in week 9, he had 15 points. Week 10, he had 11. And this is half PPR, remember. Week 11, he had 25. Very productive. Week 12, he had 16. Then in week 13, he had 3. Then he had 17 in week 14. Then he had that 0. He laid that goose egg. Then he had 3.9 and 3.4. But those last 3 weeks that I'm talking about, they only targeted him. Okay. So he got passes 3 times in those games. That's it. Only 3 times. And that's why he put up so little numbers. The one time he got 0, he never made a catch. He was targeted 3 times in week 16 and got 3 catches, targeted 3 times in week 17, got 1 catch. Here's the thing. They did not use him. They stopped using Cooper Kupp towards the end of the season. It was almost like he has one of those things written in his contract, like, because let's just see real quick. Come on, stats. He had 710 yards receiving. It was almost like if he gets to 1,000 yards, they had to give him a bonus and they didn't want to throw to him. That's almost what it felt like. Okay. We're kind of on a Cooper Kupp tangent right now. Look, I'm telling you, I think he's got maybe not a lot, but he's probably got 2 really good years of football left. And if you're the Bengals, that's good. If you're the Bills, that's good. You have Amari Cooper that you didn't really use that much. I mean, Cooper Kupp has been productive week in and week out. I just gave you the stats. He for weeks 8 through 12, he had 13, 15, 11, 25, 16 points. I mean, he was very productive. He's not too old to play this game. So we can't think that, all right? But yeah, Cooper Kupp is low key one of the best storylines right now. And Zach, you're 100% right about that. All right. Anybody thinking who they think is going to win this Super Bowl? Anybody thinking, what's going to go on with the Super Bowl? Chiefs, Eagles. I'm open to either or. I believe personally, if I had to make a bet, if my life depended on it, I would bet on the Chiefs because I think if you give Andy Reid 2 weeks, he's gonna figure out a way to stop Saquon Barkley. They know they have to stop him. I would be shocked if they said, okay, well, let Saquon get his yards. I would be shocked if they do something like that, where, okay, Saquon's going to beat us, but we're going to shut down Hurts. I don't think they can do that, because Saquon can run he could have 300 yards if they do that. So, and you definitely don't want that. He could have 4 or 5 touchdowns. So that'll be interesting. Eagles got to win, says Nathaniel. I think the kickers will suck. Well, Butker's actually been pretty good in Butker's been pretty good in the playoffs. He's he was injured, he came back, he makes a lot of late game kicks and all that kind of stuff. He can make it from 50 yards. I think it's great. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be like 27-24. That's sort of where I'm at. I know the over-under is like 48.5. I'm not a big gambler, but I can see why that's the over-under. The differential is 1.5 points, I believe, in favor of the Chiefs. So that's probably about right. So they're saying, Vegas is saying that they think it's going to be, 2 points is going to be the difference maker. So we'll see how that goes. Now, when it comes to MVP, obviously, if the Chiefs win, I'm giving the favoritism to Mahomes. But if the Eagles win, and they could definitely win, if Hurts can find people, and he played a good game, except I believe he was the one that fumbled 2 years ago. I believe it was him, but he had a good game. It was 38-35. I don't see that as this score. The Chiefs offense is not that way anymore. And I think their defense will be good enough to stymie the Eagles just enough to cap them at no more than about 30, although I'm predicting the score to be 27-24, or I'm thinking that that's what the score will be. So I feel like there's going to be some defensive stops. The one thing about it is, if the Eagles can get down to the goal line and they do their tush push, I don't know how the Chiefs stop it. They're so good at that compared to Buffalo that I don't know how you stop it. That's the problem. That's 6 points right there all day long. And that's the one thing that kind of scares me about the entire game, is the fact that, if they do the tush push, and thank you, Amanda, for the rose. I'm using my Restream again, so I don't always get updates on everything. It's very weird. But what it is just, I'll make a long story short. Restream allows me to be on TikTok and YouTube at the same time. It's one of very few operating systems or platforms that allows you to do that. StreamYard does not allow you to do that. So I'm able to do that here. So I kind of like the idea of having control over just using one computer rather than two. All right. Just a quick reset here. If you haven't, hit that subscribe button on YouTube, hit that follow button on TikTok, hit that like button. Let's get some more likes in here. Where are we at? Total viewers. Oh, we got 400 likes. Maybe we can get that to 1,000. I'm not sure, but we'll try. Also, the QR code below me, if you can see that through the chat, I do have a fantasy football playbook and a fantasy baseball playbook. They're both over 25 pages long. They're 26 pages, but they're packed with nuggets. And I know fantasy baseball, StreamYard is free, but you get the StreamYard branding logo in it. So it's good to use, but and the free version's worth it. But if you want to be on TikTok, you can't do it. StreamYard will not let you be on TikTok and YouTube at the same time, but Restream does. The QR code below me, though, is the one where you can get the fantasy football playbook for $9.99 for a year, or you can get the fantasy baseball playbook for $9.99 for a year. And like I said, it's 26 pages. And it is the number one sports show. Do you follow basketball? Yes. And probably in February, I'll be reintroducing some basketball. We tried to do some basketball shows. My buddy Nathaniel, who's actually on the line here, we tried to do some basketball shows, and all we got were football questions. We'll probably bring that back here because basketball is heating up. And let's face it, and I heard some people nationally talking about this. People were talking about how on Christmas Day that the NFL got all the viewers compared to the NBA. And Christmas used to be the NBA's game. But now now with all these trades, Luca and De'Aaron Fox and Jimmy Butler and all of this stuff, they're getting all the press, and it's supposed to be Super Bowl weekend. So it's great. I mean, look, it until the Super Bowl's played, or well, okay, let me just say this. Last week, people were probably like, okay, I get a little break from football for a while, you know. But with all the trades and everything that's going on, everything's heating up. It's really exciting to watch what the NBA, what the teams have been doing. And I haven't actually looked over the last hour or two. I've been doing some other things, so there might have even been some other trades. Now I am hearing that the center that the Lakers traded for, while he's relatively young, should fit the team pretty well. So that'll be interesting. I kind of like those. I don't know if anybody follows baseball who's watching, but there was the Doyle Alexander, John Smoltz trade, Detroit and the Braves back in either the late 80s or early 90s that brought Smoltz to Atlanta and Doyle Alexander to Detroit, I believe. I believe those were the teams. And obviously Doyle Alexander was a short-term gain for Detroit, but John Smoltz is a Hall of Famer, I mean, and I think he only played for two teams, Atlanta, and then towards the end he was a relief pitcher. Well, he was a relief pitcher, and then he also was a relief pitcher for the Cardinals. And I know that. You follow baseball, I know you do. Did you hear that Hunter from Hawks got traded to Cap? Oh, did that just happen? Number one sports show? Wow. Okay. No, like I said, I have not. I've been working on some other things. And I'm like, you know what? I've been talking about going live during the day, and I just haven't done it. And okay, let's see. Cavs land forward hunt. Yes. And well, I'm just now reading it. Okay. DeAndre Hunter from Hawks. I did hear that the Cavs would probably make a trade. We need Christina on the stream. Well, Christina has a day job. And we got to keep that day job. But I did hear that the Cavaliers would probably make a move. What are you, a Cav fan, number one sports show? Are you a Hawks fan? You're disappointed to see him go? What thoughts do you have on that? Also, what do you guys think of the Super Bowl? Do you think the Chiefs will three-peat? Do you think that the Eagles and Chris Middleton got traded to Wizards? Yes, and they got Kuzma, right, in return, which that makes him younger, and Middleton had some injury problems and hadn't been playing as much. So it sounded like it was a pretty good deal for the Bucks, because there was some talk that the trade might actually be the Bucks might be trading. Oh, you're a Cavs fan. Cool. All right. Good to know. So you're excited by this trade, I'm guessing, right? Getting Hunter. I'm assuming you like this trade. I'm hoping you do. But they were saying that Giannis might have been traded if, well, not if Middleton didn't work out, but I had a feeling, or I heard that Giannis might have been traded because he wasn't so happy. Now, did you guys also hear, since we're just talking about NBA, did you hear that Kevin Durant, there was a trade where Durant was going to go to Golden State, but he nixed the deal, or he said he didn't want to. So that would have been a huge trade. He would have rejoined Curry and all them, and that's then what led to the Butler trade. So it'll be interesting. The one thing about it is I can see where in basketball, especially, that because in football you run a route. Like if you're a wide receiver, you run a route, and it's not like you pass the ball back and forth. You know, you you run a route, they throw you the ball, you try to catch it, and that's how it goes. But with some of these NBA trades, eh, you know, there is a chemistry issue. It's like in baseball, there's a little bit of chemistry. If the guy's a total big fat jerk, then yeah, it becomes a whole clubhouse thing if he gets traded to a team. But the one thing I'll say about the NBA is I can see where that's all chemistry. It's like hockey as well, because you're on you're playing with these guys. You got to know where he'll be, where he won't be, what he knows. What you got to know his strengths, his weaknesses. They used to say early in his career that Jordan couldn't go to his left, so you want to make sure that you had the lane to the right open, because he wasn't very good going to his left, because he would stay with his right, and all these kinds of little inside baseball kind of things. But for the most part, football, though, you can plug somebody in as long as they can run the route, you can get them the ball. As long as they're fast enough, strong enough, and they know the route. So anyway, I think that for the most part, these NBA trades have been, but we have gave up Karras and knee. Well, yeah. I mean, I understand what you're saying. There's always shrapnel. There's always a little bit more that you've given away for some of these trades. Golden State did it. They gave away Wiggins. I don't say it was Higgins. I was thinking about T. Higgins. But yeah, they gave away Wiggins in the trade to get Butler. So there's always shrapnel. There's always a couple pieces here or there. And in the NBA, the one thing about it, or in pro sports, a lot of times, somehow a lot of those players sometimes make it back to the team, or they find somebody, another body, and they can put him in there. Or with the new player, they need a different kind of player. They don't need that same exact player, and they find the pieces that fit. The one thing I'll say is my question with all these trades and related to chemistry is how can the teams improve enough by the end of the season to make the playoffs? Okay. Because some of them aren't, necessarily a lock to make the playoffs. And then can they make a run because they got this player? Can they make a run? Will the Mavericks be able to make a run, make the playoffs, and go and beat OKC? Will they have that chemistry? Will AD bring that with him, kind of thing? There's a lot of that going on, and it's a big piece. The one thing I'll say is it seems to me with the Luka trade that there is also supposedly last minute talks between Blazers and Cavs to trade Grant for, okay. Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, there's always those myths. Cavs, yeah, the Cavs are incredible this year. They're just incredible. They're just phenomenal. And I don't think anyone but maybe you and other Cavs fans really expected that. We expected the Celtics to be good in the East, but not the Cavs, not this good anyway. I mean, for the most part, it wasn't a top story, but they are just incredible. They're just a winning machine. And that's a lot of fun too. When your team keeps winning, it's a lot of fun to watch the games. It's a lot of fun to follow sport. You don't want to follow a team that's, if they're 41-10, if they're 26-25, or like me. Hey, Gagan's here. Hey, Gagan, how are you? What's going on, buddy? Thank you for the roses. Appreciate it. Hey, Chris is here. Yes, I'm on during the day. I want to see what you guys think about the Super Bowl. We're talking a little bit basketball because the number one sports show on YouTube. I'm also on YouTube right now, guys. He's talking some Cavs. He's talking NBA. We're talking all the trades. Can't wait till fantasy season starts. Yes, and by the way, just so you all know, yes, I agree. I can't wait either. Below me here, that sounds horrible. Below me, down here, I have a QR code, and I've created a 26-page fantasy baseball and fantasy football. They're two different ones. They're playbooks, and it's everything on what to do for the draft, what to do during the season, what to do during the season, like looking at buys and making sure that you have the right players, and monitoring the waiver wire and free agents and all of those things. All of my thoughts kind of spilled out on paper, and it's $9.99 for the entire year. It's $9.99 for 12 months. You get that. It's $9.99 for the fantasy baseball, which starts soon. Baseball season is March 27th. Everybody mark your calendars. And football season, we're a little bit of ways from fantasy football, but I'll probably do one for fantasy basketball and maybe even hockey. If someone takes Lamar Jackson, who's another decent quarterback for fantasy? Well, Josh Allen, of course. Josh Allen. Now, Joe Burrow has a tendency to start slow, but he put up massive numbers at the end of the season. So he's another one. And, if those guys are taken, so I would go Lamar, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. I mean, those are kind of more obvious ones. I would strongly consider Jaden Daniels. He had a very good season, especially for a rookie. I would expect him to get better. However, there is that thing called the sophomore jinx, or whatever it is, sophomore slump. That's what it is. So a second season slump. So we'll see how that goes. But he had a really good season. a couple other people. Oh my goodness, I can't believe this. Baker Mayfield had a good season. He had a very good season. He was sort of like, I would say he's sort of underneath Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow kind of list. Herbert with the Chargers, he doesn't put up as good a points as Baker Mayfield. I would say it's like Jackson, um, Allen, Burrow, and then in another group I have Baker Mayfield. I would actually put Jared Goff underneath him, Sam Darnold underneath Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield had a really good season. So anyway, how's everybody else doing out there? Who do you think's going to win on Sunday? I have about 3 more minutes and I got to hop off for a call. I had Stroud this year in fantasy. Oh yeah, Stroud. Well, that's the thing. It's sophomore slump. Where do you think Adams is going to go? Davante Adams. Well, could he go back to the Raiders? He hated it there, but if they make some changes with Brady, they have a new coach, maybe. Hey, Beto's here. Hey, Beto. I'm just so everybody knows, I'm probably jumping off in about 2 minutes, but I'm glad you could join, Beto. Love to see you on board. We're just talking Super Bowl. Where do I think Davante Adams will go? He still had a Davante going to the CFL. Yeah, he could. I mean, Davante had good look wherever Aaron Rodgers goes, he may go. All right. So there's that. If Aaron Rodgers plays for another team, he may go to that other team. I don't think he's coming back for the Jets. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is. So that's that. Now, New England's the one with all the cap room, right? I believe they're the one with all the cap room. He could go there if they start losing out on other quarterbacks or other wide receivers, because I think actually that T. Higgins probably goes to New England because they have all the cap room. And so he'll sign a big contract with them. He'll leave Cincinnati and kind of be their number one. Now, I don't have all the free agents in front of me. And like I said, I have about 1 minute. So Davante going to CFL, you're still at that. Okay. Number Stroud. Yeah, Stroud had a very disappointing year. Anyway, guys, I'm going to be back on live later today. Thank you for joining right now. I do appreciate it. To Amanda, to Beto, to Gagan, to Nathaniel, to the #1 sports show on YouTube. Thank you.